Hello and welcome, friends. I'm Shumoy, and I'm welcoming you all on a new edition of our webinar. Today it is 15th of September 2018, Saturday, and let's start our weekly rituals. This week we are going to take a stock of the situation of how the global and our domestic equity and commodity markets are panning out, and what can we expect going forward next week. So let us start with an overview of how the dollar index has performed over the past few weeks. And as you know, our INR have been extremely weak over past three weeks, and we have also touched 73 rupee a dollar mark, and from there was a bit of pullback. Now what is going ahead? As you can see from my screen, that it is the daily chart of dollar index, and dollar index have been showing strength. There is no doubt about it. It is staying above most of the important moving averages, and it is creating higher bottom formation. So trend is obviously upward, so we are expecting more strength going forward in dollar, which in turn says that euro, GBP, all these global currencies can also remain weak against dollar, not to mention our INR. So 94.93, nearly 95 is where dollar index actually closed yesterday, and we can see a little bit of support at 94.5 region, and if 94.5 gets broken, only then some pullback or some weakness in dollar will be evident. Otherwise, the present intermediate uptrend is likely to continue in dollar. And if that is the case, if dollar remains strong, then obviously this will put an impact on global commodities like gold, like crude. So it is good to take a look on the daily chart of gold as well. This is the daily chart of gold, and as you can see, in the second week of or third week of August, gold made a new low at around $1170 an ounce region, and thereafter it is consolidating. Now if gold goes above $1,217 per ounce region, which is where the 50-day moving average is, then we can expect some pullback in gold, because that is where the 1 month hold consolidation top is residing. So a movement above 1217 to 1220 region will be bullish for gold, and that will be fueled by dollar index, weakness of dollar index. If dollar index also violates 94.5 regions and gold breaches upward 1217 region, then we can expect some meaningful pullback in gold, although that will not revert the primary downtrend that the gold is currently on. But some pullback in gold can be expected, and in that case, nearest target for gold will be around $1,260 an ounce region. So what is likely to happen in crude oil? Crude oil is in an uptrend, no doubt about that, but lately this uptrend is actually waning out. Some consolidation, some pullbacks are actually taking place, and yeah, the slope of the longer term moving average is up, but the slope of the short-term moving average, which is the 50-day moving average, is actually pretty, it is going horizontally. So in the short term, trends have become choppy. Currently it is trading at $69 per barrel mark. A movement above 70, if crude goes and closes above 70, only then a higher target is possible. In that case, the higher target will be at around 73 to 74 dollar a barrel mark. And on the other hand, if 67 gets broken for crude oil, then chances are high that lower prices will be tested for crude oil. Right now, the trend is choppy in short term, and we are not expecting much action in crude oil. Now, having said that, let us take a stock of how the global equity markets have performed. And by the term global equity markets, we are actually meaning the large cap index of US stocks, the S&P 500 index. And this is the daily chart of S&P 500 index. As you can see, there is not much to distinguish between what is happening now and what has been the case for the past, say, 3 months or 4 months. Prices are in extended uptrend. There is no doubt about that. Some short-term pullbacks have been occurring, especially in the first week of September, but this only was a short-term pullback and some buying opportunities. So in the long term, primary uptrend is intact. And last bottom was made at around 2874 regions, and currently prices are trading at around 2900 regions, 2905, which also happens to be the lifetime high for this index. So US market is actually trading at lifetime high. And if 2870 regions holds, right, for S&P 500, we are saying this because most of the moving averages, look at the slope of the moving averages, both the moving averages are sloping upward. So the trends are more likely to continue than reverse, as the saying goes, and we will have to put a stop loss at around 2870 region, and as long as S&P 500 stays above this region, we will expect even higher prices going forward. So this is the global perspective, how globally equities and commodities have performed. Back home, let's take a look how our Indian markets have performed over the past few sessions. Now, this is the daily chart of Nifty, and let us turn it into a weekly chart. Yeah, this is the weekly chart. On a weekly basis, we have closed 74 points lower than previous Friday. And also look at the stochastic, which is at the upper bit of my screen. The stochastic is overbought. The stochastic is overbought, and it suggests some pullback might occur going forward. So, but this pullback may not end the primary uptrend that our Indian equity markets are currently in. In fact, this week itself, we saw some meaningful pullbacks. Some sell-off occurred in the first 2 days of the week, and prices took some support from the 50-day moving average, the blue one, the blue moving average on my screen that you can see here. Here it is the 50-day moving average. So prices, although did not close below the 50-day moving average, but it actually took some support from there. And this is the typical characteristic of any uptrend, that prices momentarily take support from important moving averages, and then they again go on and keep on making new highs. So there is nothing to predict as yet. we are not going to predict what is likely to happen next, but most importantly, we have to believe in the trend, in the overall primary uptrend, and as the saying goes, the trends are more likely to continue than reverse. So as for now, we have to keep our stop loss at around 11,280 region. So 11,280 region is the stop loss, and as long as Nifty stays above that, we can expect the overall primary uptrend to continue. Yeah, but that does not mean all stocks will be equally performing, because lately we are witnessing some minor participation on part of the mid-cap stocks, but that is not significant as yet. So mid-caps, we can safely say, are not still participating, and the mid-caps are overall underperforming the broader index still now. So as long as our overall view is bullish in the market, but we have to be in the proper counter where action can be seen, actions are expected. Not all the stocks are making new highs, only few stocks are showing strength, only few stocks are outperforming the index, and we have to identify those stocks and stay in those counters for some short-term gains. So here we give our weekly recommendations for next week. The first sector that catches our attention is the IT sector, and IT sectors, the large cap IT sectors actually, like the likes of TCS, like TCS, likes of Infosys, likes of Mindtree, Tech Mahindra. These are the large cap IT stocks, and these stocks are showing exemplary strength over the past many weeks, and as long as the overall strength continues in these counters, it will be a good option to trade the stocks from the long side. So here is the daily chart of TCS, and yesterday there was some sell-off, and it made a low as close as 2020 regions, and therefrom some strong buying emerged, and the prices actually recovered to close at around 2065. So there is obviously strength in large cap IT stocks. TCS is one of them. You will have to keep a stop loss at 2000 region, and you have to trade this stock from the long side. Many times I have also recommended this stock earlier in these webinars, and the stock has been performing well. So we will keep a close watch on this stock as well. Mindtree is another stock in this sector. The stock is actually trading at lifetime high, as can be seen from this chart. Not many stock is trading at lifetime high, that I can tell you, right? Not many stocks. Only very handful of stocks are trading at their lifetime high. So these are the stocks where actions are being seen, and we have to trade these stocks. We have to identify these stocks and trade these stocks from the long side. So Mindtree is another candidate from the IT sector, large cap IT sector, and it is trading at around 1140 regions. Look at this breakout region in Mindtree. This was the breakout region, this 1090 to 1080 regions, and this region is likely to work as a support. Actual proper stop loss will be at around 1000 region, 1010 region. So all pullbacks will be buying opportunities for Mindtree as well. Let's take a look at Tech Mahindra. This is Tech Mahindra, another outperforming stock. Yeah, Tech Mahindra is also trading at its or near to its lifetime high. Actual highest closing was at 775. Yesterday it made a low at 720, and then it closed at 760. So yes, pullbacks occur all the time. These pullbacks are actually buying opportunities, and I'm just showing you the stocks. Those are in an extended uptrend and currently in a pullback mode, and these pullbacks will be buying opportunities. So Tech Mahindra is another stock in IT sector that we are interested to trade from the long side mainstream. This is the large cap IT sector. The second important sector that catches our attention for next few weeks is, as I also mentioned, it is the pharma stocks. Now, pharma stocks were in an extended downtrend for over 2 years now. Now, this downtrend, we can confidently say that this downtrend has been exhausted. Most of the pharma stocks have made a strong base, and from the base they are showing strength, and they have honored their base and they are going upward. So among these pharma stocks, the first one that we would like to recommend is the old warhorse Aurobindo Pharma. Yesterday it closed at around 800 region, and yeah, a bit cyclicality is shown here, but nevertheless the short-term and long-term momentum suggests that higher prices are ahead. So Aurobindo Pharma is one of our primary recommendations in this sector. Let's take a stock how Lupin has been doing lately. This is the chart of Lupin. As you can see, the prices were in a very long downtrend. Once upon a time, the stock used to trade at 2100. Now it is trading at 970. The downtrend is nearly 2 years long, and very recently, after forming a bottom, the stock is actually trading above both the important moving averages of 50 and 200 denomination. So for longer term, Lupin will be an excellent buy from here. For very strong upside potential is there, and you have to keep a stop loss. For now, we can say a stop loss at around 885 region. So there is a 7 to 8% stop loss, but this stock has a potential to rise many times further. So Lupin is another stock from this sector that we are going to recommend. Not to forget Sun Pharma. Here it is, the Sun Pharma chart. Short-term chart is very much like Lupin, like many other pharma stocks. But see here how many times the stock has taken support from the important moving averages. Like here, the 200-day moving averages. It has taken support here from 200-day moving averages. Then it has taken support here from the 50-day moving averages. So these are characteristic of strength. These show how strong the trend is. This is the classical behavior of an uptrend where prices come down, take support from the important moving averages, and then again ascend higher. So this is what is happening in Sun Pharma, and Sun Pharma happens to be another long-term recommendation from us. This stock also has a strong potential of going many times higher. Prices are only at 665 region. Overall lifetime high is at 11 or 1200 region. So Sun Pharma has a potential to go many points higher from here. Dr. Reddy's, let's see how Dr. Reddy's are doing. This is Dr. Reddy. The short-term chart is very much same. Also look at how prices had made a top at June and then retraced back, and only in the third week of August that the June top was surpassed, and price is actually ascending higher. So short-term trend is absolutely upward, and in the long term we can see a reversal of our downtrend. So Dr. Reddy's also stays there in our watch list, and long-term upward trending stock, long-term buying candidate, right? Glenmark Pharma. Here is the Glenmark Pharma chart. You can see the higher bottom formations. Yeah, you can see the higher bottom formations on daily chart, which suggests the uptrend is likely to continue, and prices are above the 200-day moving average. Here it is the 200-day moving average, and also the 50-day and 100-day moving average. So pharma stocks are also likely to go higher, and we are recommending these stocks for the longer term. So these are the most important sectors: the pharma counters and the large cap IT stocks. Some metal stocks are also outperforming, and among the metal counters we prefer most the JSW Steel, and JSW Steel yesterday closed at another lifetime high, which is at 408 region. This stock should be bought in all pullbacks. Even if there is no pullback, you have to buy it, and the longer term trend can be pretty clear, and the important moving averages are sloping upward. The 200-day, the 50-day moving averages are sloping upward. So JSW Steel is the best counter in this metal index, and we prefer JSW Steel over all other steel stocks like Tata Steel, like Steel Authority of India. So this is another counter that we will likely be trading next week from the long side. And not to forget the FMCG sectors as well. In FMCG sector, we had earlier mentioned about 2 or 3 stocks like Dabur, like Britannia, like ITC, and let's see how these stocks are faring. Dabur did very good yesterday. It rose some 3% and closed at 468 level. So some short-term pullback is nearly over, and prices are nearly going to challenge its previous life high of some 485 region, and if that is succeeded, then even 500 or 500 or beyond is possible for Dabur. So Dabur among FMCG is a very outperforming stock that is outperforming the overall broader market, the overall index, and we are recommending to trade this stock from the long side. Not to forget Britannia. Here is the Britannia chart, the daily chart, and yes, it has taken some serious knock for the past 1 month, where prices have come from 7,000 to 6,000. It closed below 6,000, but right now it is showing some kind of resilience, and I'm not recommending this stock right now because prices are trading below the 50-day moving average, so we have to keep a watch. But when and if Britannia closes above the 50-day moving average, which is right now trading at 6,400 region, then Britannia will again be ready to take on new challenges, and the previous high of 7,000 will likely be surpassed. So Britannia, we are not recommending it right now, but we will have to keep a watch on this stock. And the last but not least, some NBFC stocks like Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv. These two stocks we also watch very carefully, and these two stocks are also looking good from here. This is the daily chart of Bajaj Finance. The stock closed almost at 3,000 in last week of August. 29.85, that was the highest closing so far in last week of August, but after that prices again pulled back as with the general trend of the overall market, closed at around 25.94, so below 2,600. But right now, yesterday it showed good strength, and some 3% or 3.5% of rise was seen. Prices suggest if 25.90, that is Thursday's close, that is Wednesday's close. Now, if that price is not broken on a closing basis, then chances are high that, and if this price, that is the 27.50, if prices actually close above 27.50, then we are expecting to see the all-time high, that is the 3,000, to be conquered sooner than later. So Bajaj Finance is a stock to look and to be traded from the long side in the next few sessions. And last but not the least is Bajaj Finserv. So yeah, here is the Bajaj Finserv. Charts are not very different from Bajaj Finance, and but yesterday this particular stock showed much more strength, closed almost above the 50-day moving average, and we are expecting this short-term strength to remain, and the primary uptrend is likely to resume here. You can trade this stock keeping a stop loss at around this level, which is a 6,300 level, and trade the stock for the longer term. The lifetime high is at around 7,100, so chances are high that 7,100 levels will be broken. So these were our picks for next week. Overall view is bullish, and if for Nifty 6,300 holds, then these stocks, the large cap IT stocks, the pharma stocks, the NBFC stocks, are likely to outperform the market. And that's all for this week. I hope you will have enjoyed this, and if there is any query, you can post your query in our YouTube channel. So signing off, see you next week. Bye.